Mr. Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Please get the fuck out of BC.
Have a wonderful day, ma'am.
Yeah, you suck.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am here once again with a lady who's turning into quite the powerhouse of Canada, I must say. I mean, first of all, you told the Prime Minister to bugger off, and now you're taking on the bloody CBC. Emily.
They contacted me.
Yeah, this is true. Listen, I was having a nap on the couch earlier today, and then you messaged me, and then you said, "Hey, check out this video," and I clicked on the video, and I went, "Holy heck!" I said, "Look, we got to get together. We have to talk about this video." Okay, so you had quite a day. Okay, everybody. Okay, I'm going to play the video. Emily and I are going to, pause and talk. If you want to watch the whole video without interruption, I guess they could go onto your Facebook, just look you up and watch it if you're okay. That's with right.
That. Yep, okay. It's public on my Facebook profile. So if you look for me on Facebook, you should be able to see it right there.
Okay, fine. So then, yeah, but for our purposes, for my purposes, I'm gonna pause a little bit, but I'm gonna let most of it play through. This was most fascinating because the CBC journalist, his name is Chad Pawson, he was trying to get a clip from you, desperately trying to get a clip from you about the Trudeau thing that happened days and days ago. Yeah, and so basically, we have to watch this interaction. I'm gonna put it up now, and where did I put it? Okay, here it is. And then we can talk through it. Let me just make sure I got the thing, and we go like this, and let's roll it from the top.
Hey, Facebook. Emily Duggan here. I think I'm on my personal page right now. Anyways, I'm doing this live today as a surprise to me as well as you, because I have been contacted twice today by two different CBC employees, and they would like to talk to me about my interaction with Justin Trudeau on December 27th at Red Mountain in Rossland. So, like a good Emily will, I'm going to do this out in the public for everyone to see, so that anything I say to CBC is not misconstrued or misrepresented. Wish me luck. I'm going to give this guy a call right now. I think he said his name was Chad. Alia Ramadan contacted me, and a gentleman named Chad. So we'll see how this goes.
By the way, I'm trying to say, this is so brave of you to do this like this. Like, this is the balls. I mean, this is not, you know what I mean? This is not a one time. Well, you only had balls one time. You have balls. Okay, here we go.
Wish me luck. There's a hair on my screen.
Chad speaking.
Hi, Chad. My name is Emily Duggan, and I just received an email from you.
Oh, hey. Yeah, great. Thanks for calling me back.
Yeah. So you're, am I correct? You work for CBC Vancouver News?
That's right. Yep. Yeah. And I've been working with Chris Walker and Ali Ramadan in Kelowna, I'm not sure if you heard some of their interviews this week about Trudeau being at Red Mountain, of course involving you, but also involving other people there. So we're working on a story about how there was a post posted on Christmas Day saying that Trudeau was butting in line and his entourage was creating problems at hotels and stuff, and we basically verified that post came out before he even arrived.
Did you find it funny that he was wanting to get a clip about the post? Did that raise your suspicion at all, or were you kind of, what'd you think?
It seemed so weak. Like, this is what you want to talk to me about, if I saw a Facebook post or not? Yeah. It was very obvious that he was leading into an intent question, and I wanted to talk to him about other things.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. We'll carry on. Yeah. It's funny. They want to almost like nail. They want a clip so they can nail you. That's my sense as we go on. But let's play more.
So
Oh.
I just wanted to check in with you to see if you had seen that post and if that was had any impact or motivation for you in going to seek a chat with Trudeau.
So Chad, before I answer any of your questions, I'm curious to know exactly how much of your paycheck the Liberal government pays for.
The Liberal government pays for my paycheck.
Does the Liberal government fund CBC?
No.
Ah!
No, there's no government funding to the CBC.
Yeah, the CBC is in part funded by the government. But the Liberal...
Wait, I'm sorry. Why did he say no the first time? He said no.
I'm not going to pretend to know what these people are thinking.
Exactly.
Or if they're thinking at all.
I mean, you do not bite the hand that feeds you, which means that if you have a sponsor, that is why if you're sponsored by a coffee company, it's the most delicious coffee ever. You don't sit there and say this coffee is shit, right? But I mean, but I just want to go before we go on. CBC in 2023, they got federal funding of $1.29 billion. Okay. And you know how much revenue they made? Their revenue is this. 515.42 million. I actually don't even know how they make 515, but they have a loss of this. They lose $580 million. That was in 2023, 2024. And yet the government still gives them money. But when
they lost that much money,
they lose that much money. If they get 1.29 billion in a federal grant, they generate a revenue of this much, 515 million.
Yeah.
They lose $774 million. They were given 1.29 billion. And these mofos, if I give you this much money and you create this much revenue, you would be out of business, particularly the CBC. They generate that type of loss that I'm showing on the screen there. And there are broadcasters for the public that turn public comments off on most of their YouTube videos. So I resent that they get that much tax money. Sorry, I had to interject. Now let me go back. I think I lost it again. Let me go back and let's carry on because it's fascinating. But it was fascinating. He said no.
The government doesn't have direct decision making over how we get our money.
What do you mean by that? They don't have direct decision making.
Well, it's at arm's length.
Could you explain that a little bit more for me, please? I don't understand.
Well, the way that CBC is funded, is a series of decisions made by our government to fund the public broadcaster, but they don't have oversight into the activities that we participate in or the coverage that we do.
Yeah, they do.
Are you aware of any other news outlets that the government funds?
Well, I don't know, actually, to be honest with you. I'm sure there's grants and such for local journalism initiatives and that the government probably is involved in.
Is that
for certain?
Is that how CBC got the funding from our government? Is by submitting for grants? Is it a grant?
Yeah, I don't know.
Pardon me?
I don't know.
You don't know?
You don't know.
So you just know that the government does a little bit of funding for CBC, but you don't know how you got that funding or anything like that?
Well, I think I explained it to you. It's an arm's length process by which the government funds the public broadcaster in Canada. Yeah. But it's not like the NPR in the United States or, it's more akin to like the BBC or the ABC in Australia. But I'm not an expert in these things, so I'm not sure, what you want me to say. I think what you want me to say.
That was at least honest of him to say that. It is a taxpayer-funded news entity, like the BBC and like, what else? What else is there? The Australian one. And to get that much money in federal funding, tax money, that is what fuels their whole corporation. It's a crown corporation. So you don't I mean, and why did they report the way they reported for so long? I mean, here we go.
Say is that I'm a Liberal supporter and that I'm calling you on behalf of Justin Trudeau to try and get some answers out of you.
No, what I want you to
I'm
tell
doing.
me, Chad, let's not get confused here. What I want from you is the truth.
That the CBC is funded directly by the federal government and has oversight into its activities. Is that what you want me to say?
If it's the truth, sure, but I don't want you to make up a narrative just because you think you know what I want.
Okay, so I'm telling you that the CBC is funded by public money, but the government has no oversight into how we operate.
Okay, so if the government has no oversight into how you operate, why is the CBC never reporting the full story? How come you're only supporting one side of the story that suits the narrative of the Liberal government?
Well, and I'm not going to argue with you because it's futile. You're not going to believe anything I say. You don't believe in what the public broadcaster does. So I'm not sure exactly what to say.
There were COVID narratives that were shot down deliberately. You can ask Marianne Clowick, a CBC reporter, who also, she testified at the National Citizens Inquiry, as did I. There was no getting around this. So for him to say pandemic policies, the government had nothing to do with it. The government had everything to do with it. We're not privy to that. And producers, management, senior management, bloody well upheld that narrative at all costs, even if it cost somebody their job.
The truth, Chad. You say the truth.
You as a journalist who's working on a story about a post that was posted before Justin Trudeau even arrived in Rossland, and how there was a firestorm online about people's outrage over his behavior, which is untrue, and then 2 days later you showed up and told the Prime Minister to get the fuck out of BC and told him he sucked. And all I want to know is if you'd seen that original post and that played a factor in you going to Rossland.
And all I want to know is how come the CBC doesn't report the full story on why there's pornographic materials made available in our public education system across the province of British Columbia, as well as the nation. Not to mention the fact that during COVID, you guys, you dropped the ball big time on sharing all the facts. So I'll answer your questions when you answer mine.
Well, I disagree with you. So I don't know what to say to you, what you would want me to say. I don't disagree that we did a bad job covering the pandemic.
Sorry, can you say that? Can you say that one more time?
Into
I bet that one gets him in trouble.
Are you saying there's a criminal?
He said, I don't disagree that we did a bad job during the pandemic.
That's
Correct?
right. He did say that. He did say that.
Yeah. And you're so good that you're like, could you say that again? Like, you should be a reporter. Anyway.
Criminal activity happening.
CBC might have a new opening.
Oh, Chad, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to play that game at all.
It's a matter of opinion, of course, Emily. As you know, it's very difficult to say what one person considers to be pornography and another does. But I'll tell you what, I have looked into and I have reported on, you can look at my story, is that the police have looked into, in Chilliwack, for example, if there's pornographic material.
I have that RCMP report. I have that. I have it. I have it in my desk right now. I'm aware of that report.
Yeah. So, you tell me, where's the porn? I get it. I get what you're saying. They're offensive to you and they're offensive to many Canadians that are in schools.
So how come the CBC isn't reporting the full story, Chad? How come? How come Aliyah Ramadan interviewed me for 45 minutes last year and didn't air 10 seconds of it? And then has the gall to phone me twice today for a second interview?
Yeah. It sounds like you don't want to talk to us, and I
Sorry, may I just pause here? Can you fill me in on that Aliyah Ramadan stuff? What was that?
Yeah. So I believe it was March 2023. And I had played a key role in canceling Drag Queen Storytime at the Nelson Public Library. And because I played a key role, Aliyah Ramadan had contacted me and I gave a 45-minute interview over the phone on why I participated in trying to have the event canceled at our public library. and she didn't air a single second of my interview. They reported on the drag queen storytime cancellation. They did a pretty big story on it, and to not include anything that I said is not an example of reporting the entire story.
Oh my God, she talked to you for 45 minutes and didn't use a single clip, and you were single-handedly, well, you were involved in getting that axed from the library.
I played a large role in getting that stopped at the library. Yeah.
You played a large role. Yep.
And then it goes further, something I didn't mention when I was talking with Chad, but I have a Rumble page under Mums Against the Norm.
Yeah.
And if you go to my Rumble page and you scroll through my videos, you'll see I have a couple episodes called On School Grounds. And my first episode of On School Grounds is about a teacher in Nelson, British Columbia, who handed out a get to know you form to the students. And the first 5 questions had to do with identity and pronouns. And what pronouns do you use? And what is your name? And am I allowed to use these pronouns and name with your home adults? So one of the students brought that sheet home, gave it to their parents, and I did a bit on it and put it on my Rumble page. CBC did a 15-minute segment on that, and they didn't mention my name once or contact me for a statement. So I have had dealings with CBC. I dealt with them 45-minute on over the phone interview on the drag queen storytime cancellation at the Nelson Public Library. And then they did a 15-minute segment on a video that I did, and they didn't mention me or contact me at all. And then 2 of their journalists phone me today and want me to give them information after they treated me like that.
Exactly.
I don't know who these people think they are, but they don't understand social contracts very well, do they?
Yeah. The other thing that doesn't make sense is that initial 45-minute interview, like, you will pull a clip. They should be able to pull a clip from you. Come on, one clip, a sentence, something, a clip. Is everything you said completely disparaging, or was there nothing of value in what you said? I don't understand how any reporter could not pull a clip. A clip would be 20 seconds. Pull something. What are you doing interviewing people like that? You cannot pull a clip. I don't understand. And then the second time, they didn't even get your comment on the thing, on the report. And now this is the third time. So no wonder you're like, okay, this is the third friggin' go around, and it's going to be slanted. Okay.
Yeah, I know that they're going to lead me. They're going to try and track. This is the CBC we're dealing with. These aren't I mean, come on. We know their track record.
Yeah. So he pushes on. He wants it. He wants the clip that he wants. I can hear it. Okay, here we go.
Expect that. So what can I report about what you're saying is that you confirming you were the person in the video that had the interaction with the Prime Minister, and you won't say either way if you've seen the earlier post.
Chad, I haven't confirmed anything, so be very careful with what you write.
Well, I'm asking you.
And I haven't answered. Because I have not got an answer to my question. So we can
just say you were in a phone conversation, you refused to answer any questions related to your interaction with the Prime Minister, and if you'd seen the earlier post. Is that correct?
I think you need to slip in the word alleged there somewhere, Chad.
Alleged what?
Have I confirmed anything for you?
I'm saying you wouldn't say either way. That's what I'm going to report. You wouldn't.
He wants to write, she refused comment, to make you look like a jerk.
This is not to help me. He's not writing a story to make Emily Duggan look anything other than a villain. This isn't news he's trying to report. This is a character assassination.
It's kind of like shaping the story, right? Oh, we contacted Emily Duggan for comment, and she refused to answer. That's the clip he wants. That's what he wants. Right. And he has to get it from you. He has to get your testimony. Otherwise, it's completely fraudulent reporting, but that never stopped them before. I'm not saying him. I'm not kind of trying to personally attack him, but the media in general. Okay, here we go.
Confirm either way if you'd seen the post or not.
Chad, do you think that the CBC is doing a good job on reporting on this story like they have all the other stories? I mean, it's January what? This happened on December 27th. You're a bit late to the game.
Well, maybe it's because we're taking our time to do it right, Emily.
Oh,
That
we
made
all
me
know how
laugh.
the CBC reports. And Chris Walker himself, I have on video saying CBC doesn't always hit the target. So let's get
Well, I'm not saying they're
real.
perfect, Emily, but anyways, I just want to know if you'd seen the post. Had you seen the post?
Chad, does CBC do a good reporting on both sides of the story?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one. If that was the case, then how come Aliyah Ramadan didn't air any of my 45-minute interview last
what
year?
I'm calling you about. We call people all the time and talk to them all the time and do not make public what they've said to us because it either doesn't fit within the parameters of the story or it's not germane to the story.
I was the person who canceled Drag Queen Story Time. It fit with the story.
The tape not to be used. I have no prior knowledge of what it was even about. Listen, Emily, did you see the post from Ranting and
We'll give him that he wasn't the reporter working on that other story, right? The Aliyah Ramadan thing.
That's right. I mean, although I'm only going to half give it to him because he admits later on in this conversation he's been a journalist for 19 years and he went to school to be a journalist. He should have done his due diligence and looked into who I was before connecting with me.
Yeah, or maybe he would have he probably knows all about it anyway, but he's not trying to get comment on that. He's trying to like steer clear of that. I get it. Like I'm going to, I get that. But, newsrooms don't have time to interview people for 45 minutes and not use the clip. They obviously have too much money and not enough to do because at Global, we didn't have as much money and you didn't have the luxury of spending 45 minutes on anything. But okay.
raving in the cooties before you went and spoke with the Prime Minister.
Well, I mean, Chad, you're calling a person who already has had interactions with CBC before. How good of a journalist could you possibly be if you don't know who I am?
I know who you are, Emily.
Then you know that I did a 45-minute conversation with Aliyah Ramadan, don't you?
Yes, and what is the point of knowing that? Is it germane to what we're talking about right now? I want to know if you saw the post from the picking and ranting and raving in the Kootenays before you decided to go and have an interaction with the Prime Minister. Did you?
Chad, did you know?
It's not a complicated question, Emily. We're in the present right now, right here and now. I want to know if you saw the post. I think it would be important for the public to know if that influenced your decision to go and speak with the Prime Minister. Don't you think?
Now, Chad, I'm going to ask you a question here. Let's say a random person saw a random post online. Do you think that person would be able to make a plan to go talk to the Prime Minister because of a post online?
I'm asking you directly. You let me know. It's very possible. I think a reasonable person could say, wow, I saw this post. I'm outraged that Trudeau's butting in line at this ski resort and creating a problem and going around being entitled. I'm going to go and tell him that he's a jerk. I'm going to go tell him that what his behavior is unacceptable here in BC. Yes, I'd absolutely a reasonable person could think that seeing that post could lead to some kind of action. So I'm asking you if that is in fact true, that you saw the post and it helped inform your decision to go to Red Mountain.
Okay, let's play this. We'll play tit for tat here, Chad. I'll answer your questions, you answer mine. Why did CBC drop the ball so horribly during the pandemic?
I don't agree that we did, so there's nothing to say to you about that. Wow. I believe we did an excellent job informing Canadians about the pandemic.
Did you?
Oh, stay tuned till the end of this video. We're gonna refute that. Okay, but let's keep going. He really wants to know about the post. He's trying to connect the post. Did you see the post? Did you see the post? I wonder what the angle of his story was going to be. If it's like, oh, these conspiracy theorists look at things online and look, they go across the Prime Minister. Like, I wonder what his piece was about. We don't know, but okay.
Little does he know that the guy that runs that rant and raving site has half of the West Kootenays blocked. Because the moment you disagree with the guy, he blocks you from the page. So Half of us did not see that post.
Okay. Or did you does it matter at the end of the day whether you saw it or not? I think your point is valid that you're like, "Oh, so what if you see a post that like say you see, say I see a celebrity I love and I hear they're at a restaurant. Am I going to run to the restaurant? Like, I don't know. Is that what he's trying to get at? That you're hoping to see the person? I don't know. Maybe that's a bad example. Okay, let's go on.
Do an excellent job informing all of the Canadians about the harms and the possible harms of the experimental vaccine.
Yes.
You did?
Yes, we did.
You did?
100%.
Did you do a good job?
We do facts-based reporting in speaking to...
I'm sorry. I should re-cue that a bit because you
So
said that so
there's
well.
nothing to say to you about that. I believe we did an excellent job informing Canadians about the pandemic.
Did you do an excellent job informing all of the Canadians about the harms and the possible harms of the experimental vaccine?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, we did.
You did?
No, you didn't.
100%.
Did you do a good job?
We do facts-based reporting in speaking to people involved, opinion and viewpoints from those directly involved, and provide balanced context and expert opinion on these things. Yes, we did. 100%.
You provided balance?
Yep. But that's not what I'm calling.
Chad, it's early in the day to be drinking. Come on, buddy. Let's get real with each other. I can't give you an honest answer if you're going to lie to me like this.
Yeah.
Hey, Emily, you're having a conversation with a journalist. I am going to report something from our conversation, and if you're fine with it being that you wouldn't say either way if you saw the post or not, and if it informed your decision to go to Red Mountain, that's fine. If you're not going to answer the question, then say I'm not going to answer, and then we can end this conversation. I'm asking you directly if you saw the post.
And I'm asking you directly
Boxing Day.
if you think that regular, everyday Canadian citizens can trust the CBC.
Oh.
Absolutely, I believe that.
You do?
100%.
100%.
Without a doubt.
100%.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Chad, are you a parent?
I have 3 children.
Chad, do you take your kids to Drag Queen Storytime?
I would.
You would. Chad, would you sit down and have another adult explain to your children how to give the best blowjob ever?
Would I? Sure, why not?
How old are your children, Chad?
Well, I have teenagers.
You have teenagers. Okay. So how old are
I'm sorry, he lost everybody at that. Maybe we have to talk about that one after I let it play, but that's where he lost us. I can explain a little bit more about why the media thinks they have to say that, I think, but okay.
your teenagers, Chad?
I have a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old.
Okay. Are you married, Chad?
Yes, I am.
To a woman?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, if all of a sudden your wife decided that she has come to the epiphany that she has been trapped in the wrong body for her entire life, and she goes through all of the moves and actions to become a man and gets a fake penis formed out of her forearm, would you love her just as much then as you do now?
Yes, I would.
Yes, you would. You wouldn't leave?
Well, no. Not if that was a decision we made at the time. If my wife went through a life-changing ordeal like that, and that was what she wanted for her to achieve her true happiness, how could I not support that? Listen, Emily, this is a great, fun conversation I'm having with you. But listen, we're in the present, we're in the here and now, and I want to know if
so Chad, to get
you're
this,
going to be included in these stories. You already are included in these stories. Don't you think it would be reasonable to have you have meaningful commentary in these stories? This is your opportunity to participate, and you're not participating. You don't want to answer questions.
Sorry, CBC, but you're a little bit late to the game. I already participated. I participated with Rebel News. I participated with the Toronto Sun. And you know what's great is they participated back. When I asked them questions, they answered. And you know what? I believed that they were being genuine when they answered me. I can't say the same for this conversation right now. You mean that I'm supposed to believe that you've got 3 teenage kids, that you got no problem having somebody else explain to them how to give the greatest blowjob of all time, and if you woke up tomorrow and your wife had a fake dick, you'd be okay with that? I'm sorry, Chad, but I think you're a liar.
You asked for Toronto Sun report of that. And then they answered your question. They said no. And then you said, okay, you can do the interview now. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. The questions that I asked those reporters, they answered me. They were different questions.
What? Give me an example of one.
They were different questions than what I'm asking you now. I don't need to share that with you. My conversations with other people are my business, sir, not yours.
But you're asking me personal questions. Because
I'm talking to you. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell you about a conversation I had with somebody else. You're a CBC journalist.
You answered your question. So, and then you asked me about I'd be okay with someone instructing my children to give the perfect blowjob. So I'm curious if you ask other journalists all the same question. It seems like you're interested in sort of one main thing, which is anti-SOGI. You're anti-SOGI 1, 2, 3, and you're worried about.
I am pro. I am taught in
school. So
Chad, I'm pro parental.
That's the same question.
I am pro parental rights. I am pro parental inclusion, and I am pro family unit.
Right.
Okay. So you seem to be pro. Let's mess up all the kids. Is that correct, Chad?
I'm pro mess up all the kids.
Yeah. Is that correct?
That's a reasonable statement.
I'm asking you, is it? I mean, you want to take your 3 teenagers.
That's a reasonable question. I don't think that's germane to anything. Hey, Emily.
Hey, Chad, you want to take your 3 kids. Hey, Chad, you want to take your 3 kids to drag queen story time.
Have a conversation with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. It's not a difficult question. I think that it would be excellent if you would participate in our coverage of this issue.
Why would I participate with CBC?
I sorry, I have to just stop again. This whole, I think we have to just stop and talk about this blowjob thing or whatever. When you ask him the question, he's like, yeah, no, I'd be fine with it. What parent would ever say that? What parent? Not that sexual health and sexual education is bad. That's not what we're talking about.
No.
You want to elaborate on that a little bit? Like,
it's not sexual. It's not. So when I was in school, it was called sex education. Yeah. And I think that what I was taught as a teenager in high school is reasonable. And I think that we should be teaching our youth how to properly care for and protect their body. I am not against that. I support that. What I am against is the pleasure education aspect that we are seeing in today's sex education. And what I mean by pleasure education is the explicit information that is being passed on to our children through public education that talks about how to give a blowjob, how to give a hand job, how to receive these acts, how to get your partner to climax. These things are not going to protect your body from sexually transmitted diseases. And these things are not going to protect you from an unwanted pregnancy, say. So what is the purpose then of teaching them to our youth if it is not in fact grooming? If there is another purpose, let's talk about it. As of yet, I have not met anybody who can reasonably give me another reason why we would be teaching our youth and our young children these things. Well, actually, that's not true. I have had one reason. Well, if we teach them about sexual acts, they will know how to protect themselves from sexual abuse. This is an argument that I have been given. Okay, so in some of these, let's humor that idea for a moment. So these explicit books that are being shown or provided in our public education that talk about how these things make you feel good, these things make your partner feel good, and we're going to present these ideas to young children, age 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, as something that makes you and a person you like feel good. And we don't think for one moment these kids are going to walk away and try to make their friends feel good. We're going to present these ideas to young minds as a fun activity to do. And we don't think that they're going to go out and try it with their friends. Like,
That's
this
right.
is insanity at work here is what it is.
It is. Like, we had like basic sexual health back in the day, and that was important. You're right about the pleasuring aspect. When we learned about the biology and I learned a little bit more, and I thought it was sufficient. But the pleasure aspect and what feels good, now you have, well, if it feels good. We already have an entitled generation as it is. We already have this Kim Kardashian, very highly sexualized thing for girls. Maybe girls should be sexualizing themselves a little less. And that doesn't mean not being a woman or having nice man woman interactions. It just means don't give it up. Not everything is about, I don't know, the messaging can get really messed up. Sexual.
Well, the messaging right now, sorry to cut you off, Anita.
Oh, yeah, no.
I do that. The message right now that is being sent to our youth is that your sexuality is all that matters about you. It is the only thing you have to offer the world. So be loud and be proud and let all your neighbors know so that they can tell you how brave you are and support you in whatever fetish you might have.
Yes.
That is the message that is being sent today.
That's right. That's what I think. Like, you can inspire maybe depravity a little bit. Like, you know what I mean?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
My phone says it's shutting down. Can you see me still?
I can see you, but you froze. I could just pause. I mean, right. Like, there's sex education and then there's something different, these days.
That's right. Sex education is important. And maybe we need a different name for it. Maybe we need a different name. I hear the term body science, and I like that term. I think that's a good term because we should all know how our bodies work and how to protect them from any sort of disease that you can catch, right? But that's not what we're seeing today in our public education. What we're seeing is pleasure education. It's unnecessary. It's causing harm. And it's giving every sexual predator in every community across the globe easier access to children because they no longer have to do the legwork of grooming the child to accepting that these things are normal because our public education has done it for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It was shocking when he said that about the blowjob part. It's like, no, that's not something that is not for school. We figure it out like the rest of us did. We just figured it out. We know what feels good and what doesn't feel good. We'll figure that out on our own. It's not something that the school needs to tell you, but
that's right.
For various reasons.
You see, when you guys have shit the bed at every opportunity you've been given to tell the truth.
Fine, Emily, it's been great talking to you. I'm going to report that you wouldn't answer the question, that you wouldn't see either way that you'd seen the post, and that even the mandate of CBC News. Is that accurate? Reflect your feelings and reporting in the story?
Chad, honestly, if you just jumped online and watched my interview with Rebel News or with Anita Krishna.
Well, I'll tell you what, I did watch the Anita one. And she said in your interview that the Prime Minister was butting in line at the resort, and you didn't correct her. So I'm assuming that you believe that he was butting in line as well.
Well, you know what they say about assuming, don't you, Chad?
Yeah, but you didn't correct her. You didn't say, "Oh, actually, I don't think that's quite accurate."
Is that my job?
So
is that my job?
Was that just you weren't thinking of it at the time, or did you actually believe that Justin Trudeau was butting into ski lift lines at Red Mountain?
It's not even a thought in my head. I could care less what Justin Trudeau does on his ski trips.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that. The butting in line. I remember asking you that, and I remember you didn't say yes or no, and maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, there were reports that he was butting. If you didn't happen to see, who cares? I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah. So the truth is, I didn't see him on the slopes. I saw him in the parking lot. I have no idea what the man was doing on the hill or not doing. Right. As far as him butting in lines, like I said in each statement that I have given, I went up the chairlift twice and I went down Easy Street twice. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened. Okay. As far as this post about him doing these things, I don't know the person that made the post. I don't even know what day the post was made on. I have no idea what day Justin Trudeau arrived at Red Mountain. And I do have to admit that I regret not asking Chad where he got his information from, that was a false statement.
Yes.
I wish I would have asked him, because I believe that there is a very small amount of people that actually know what day he arrived, and they aren't telling anyone.
But Chad probably got the information from looking at things online, like he's trying to get you to admit to, and whatever. And it doesn't matter whether you saw him butting in line or not. You didn't. You explained how you went up one, you came down, and it was a parking lot that you saw him in. I think that he was just alluding to the fact that when I asked you, you just not. You didn't even nod. Actually, you were just still, and I noticed that. So you didn't confirm or deny.
Because I can't. I can't.
And it doesn't bother me. So I just moved on because I kept talking, right? But I think he noticed that, and then when he said, "I assumed," well, don't assume. I didn't assume anything. I still don't.
We've never assumed.
That's right. Okay, let me go back. Let's play. Oh wait. Well, where am I going here? Yeah, here we go. There's a little bit more.
Yeah, but she said that he was in your interview, and you didn't correct her. So I'm assuming that you believe the same thing.
Sorry, I did not say that he was. I said we've heard reports. Like I was trying to get a confirmation, right? I'll just go back a little bit. I didn't. Dude has to take better notes.
I don't think that's quite accurate.
Is that my job?
Is that my job? Was that just you weren't thinking of it at the time, or did you actually believe that Justin Trudeau was putting into ski lift lines at Red Mountain?
It's not even a thought in my head. I could care less what Justin Trudeau does on his ski trips.
Yeah, but she said that he was in your interview, and you didn't correct her. So I'm assuming that you believe the same thing.
And what did they say about assuming, Chad?
Well, I'm asking you.
Is that how you do most of your journalism work? You assume?
No, I call people and I ask them questions, and they usually answer them. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm giving you an opportunity to clarify this post. And if you have...
Your journalistic... How long have you been in journalism for, sir?
About 19 years.
Wow. And did you go to school for that?
Yes.
And you have not seen a single interview that I have done in the past week and a half to be able to answer these questions you're answering me right now? I mean, I've already answered them, man. It's out there. It's online. The internet is forever. Just go take a peek.
So you're telling me to go see your commentary in other media?
Yeah, I think that Rebel News would love knowing.
That's great.
I think Rebel News would love knowing that CBC watches their channel. And you know what? I bet Anita loves it too.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks very much.
Oh, no. Thank you, Chad. You've done us a great service.
I'm surprised he's not, but that's
not. Bye. So that was my interview with CBC, Chad from Vancouver. 19 years as a journalist and went to school for it, ladies and gentlemen. This is what our Canadian government is funding for us to be able to get our information from the news. Is this good journalism? I mean, how many days has it been since this interaction took place? And they're finally getting a hold of me now? Come on. All right, guys. Well, I did this live strictly to cover my own butt. So if this new friend of mine, Chad, decides to go and say anything that I didn't say, we know the truth. It happened here. You were with me. And yeah, Allison, that was fun. Okay, guys. Thanks for having my back. Now, if I can figure out how to turn this off.
that was great, because if he goes and prints something, like, at least people can go back and look at the video that you posted. I will say, in defense of what he was doing, is that he has to get a clip from you. So he has to get his own. He can't look at other people's material, although he can familiarize himself if he wants. But he's coming to you for your comment, and he really wanted that comment.
He really wanted it. And I am surprised. surprised that he's been in journalism for 19 years. And he wasn't savvy enough to ask me another question to like, you know, soften me up a little and then sneak that question in later. Like his tactics, where were they? Come on, that was your A game? I'm a farm mom. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, you came with your A game. You came because you had like a CBC reporter on the phone, and like we talked about in the last interview, the CBC and Trudeau and the whole thing has caused so much pain. And people are feeling the pain. I mean, I put a video together the other day, and I put the Ottawa horses trampling and the way the police were, and I cannot watch that without feeling so sad and emotional about it. And for him to say, "Oh, CBC covers news accurately," no mainstream media covered that convoy properly. But listening to this guy talk, and then yet again, like when you confronted Trudeau, it was the passion, the emotion, right? And then even with this guy too, it was emotion. It was kind of taking on somebody, representing someone that had done harm. But right, I could feel that in the conversation. I want to show you something why he isn't right. Okay. Well, first of all, let me just say this. When I first got fired from Global, I wrote this article called does MSM understand why no one likes them? Is what I wrote. And I went on talking about, I'll post this, talking about what we did in the media, how this all came about. And this was a time where during the convoy, people were spitting on Global trucks, Global, you know, the camera vans. And it's got to the point where Global had to take their logos off. You know, Global used, I'll let people read this, but like Global used to walk around or drive around all feeling like, hey, I'm in the Global van, right? And now they remove their decal. How embarrassing that they do that. And when I had posted that article, some reporters, Dan Burrett from the CBC, who used to be my friend, he's an anchor. I don't have anything bad to say about him, but when I posted that, he blocked me on Twitter. Because he was involved with that. And the Camille Karamali also blocked me. I've had other people, anchors, block me. So if you're reporting fairly, why can you not look at my article and go, no, Anita, here's where you're wrong? They don't do that, because I talked in the article about all the things we didn't report. Why don't they just say, no, you're wrong, and here's why? They just block me. Journalist, why are you blocking me? That I thought was bullshit. And I want to play for everybody, before we talk more, a little bit of Rodney Palmer from the National Citizens Inquiry, talking specifically about the CBC. This is really important to me.
I started noticing that something very different was happening at the CBC, because I'm familiar with the process. I wanted to talk today specifically about the CBC, although what I'm about to say goes for most media, news media in Canada. But the CBC is very different. If you're the Toronto Star or CTV News or any private entity, Global News, and you want to publish something that maybe isn't true, or you want to take the position of a pharmaceutical company, you can do that. If you want to trick your viewers into believing something that isn't true, there's really nothing to stop them from doing that. However, the CBC is a public entity. We pay for it. It broadcasts on the public airwaves, and we expect them to tell us the truth because they've done it for 50 or 60 years. So what I started noticing was something very different. About a week, maybe two at the most, into the emergency, there was a story on the National by Adrian Arsenault, one of the greatest broadcasters we have, a national treasure. Adrian has a particular ability to appear to be discovering the facts in the moment.
So what do you do when this happens? A loved one, let's say it's your dad, drops into the family group chat with something he thinks is real. It's something about China manufacturing the coronavirus. There's a link to a site you've never heard of with a message calling it scary stuff. So what do you do with this? Do you ignore it? Do you call him out saying how ridiculous you think this is?
If you do that to your dad, you've actually shamed him. My name is Claire Wardle, and I'm the US Director of First Draft. And we are a non-profit that we help people navigate the challenges of misinformation online. What happens is that your dad doubles down on his view. and he dismisses what you're saying. Use language that's empathetic and to say we're all in this together, and rather than you're wrong, I'm right, here are the facts, because that does not work.
So hold back on all that reactive talk. Maybe try something like this. Yeah, these are scary times. We're all a bit afraid, but let's be careful. What you're sharing is inaccurate, and it feeds into that fear we all feel.
Everybody's anxiety is so heightened right now. People are sharing this stuff not for.
So that is just a little taste of, let me remove that. That is just a little taste of the type of news reporting that was being done by all of us at the time, right? And
Yeah.
in the clip, Adrian is saying here's what you can say to your dad. What you're reporting is not accurate. How does she know? Like she is telling people to dismiss your dad, dismiss what he's saying, and dismiss looking at all the videos. And remember when everybody was sharing videos, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And people wouldn't watch them. Your grandma, the aunties, they're like, no, they wouldn't watch it. And so there was no information getting distributed, and you were considered a phony baloney conspiracy theorist. That is because of the news. That is because, and if people watch that whole testimony, they will see numerous examples, particularly getting at the CBC about their pandemic coverage. So when you ask this Chad about the pandemic coverage, he's like, nope, well, we did a good job. Nope. Well, I don't know what he kind of said. They did a bad job, but
at first he said, and this is not a quote, but something like, I agree we didn't do the best on the pandemic. He did say that, and I tried to get him to repeat it, but he didn't. And then later on, he backtracked on that statement and kind of doubled down on the narrative of we did great, 100%.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But that's why you were asking him, because this is what we all went through. We all lived through this. We lived through what is propaganda, although Canadians don't expect to be propagandized to, because we didn't expect it. It was not a communist country. It's not Romania.
Well, you know what? I feel like Trudeau, the Liberal government, and organizations like the CBC have taken Canadians' good nature and ability to trust, and they've held us hostage with it. They've used it as a weapon against us. They've taken our good nature, our trusting habits, and they've used it against us in the most awful way. Like, I do believe that as Canadians, we have become complacent and we have given too much trust. And I believe that we need to pull that back and be a little bit more skeptical on these entities. And so when you say that you could hear the passion in my voice when I was talking to Trudeau as well as to this journalist, that's because I am passionate, because these people have taken my good Canadian nature and used it against me, and it has hurt me, and it has hurt people that I know. It has hurt good people who should be allowed to trust, who should be allowed to count on their good nature. And we should not have those things turned against us and weaponized against us. And so I am upset. And I recorded my interaction with Justin Trudeau, and I did a live with my interaction with the journalist Chad, because I want to show other Canadians that you should be allowed to stand up for yourself, and your passion is not a bad thing. And you should be allowed to look these people in the face or speak to them in the way that they deserve. And I don't think I've done anything wrong in either one of these situations. I think that recording my interactions has held me accountable to what I have said and how I have acted. And shame on Chad Pawson and Justin Trudeau for allowing a non-professional farm wife nobody to be held to account more than they are.